I don't know, bro. I'd venture to say that, like, outside of any podcast that, like you said, is just audio, I feel like mainly a lot of video ones are same room.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more convenient. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. Like, we do very well. Oh, sorry, I'm mixing my matcha. So aside from, us genuinely, actually being like best friends and us having done this for in total almost 3 years, you know what I mean?
Straight up.
We have good chemistry over distance. A lot of but our chemistry would be completely different. Maybe not now, maybe not completely different, but it's still a different vibe and a different energy when you are in the same room.
Yeah, I mean, it is for sure, and we noticed that a lot too when we whenever I came back to visit and we were doing. But also, I think that's something that like I've always thought too, bro. Because like you said, we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. Not this specific podcast, but we had one prior to this as well. And it's like, do you ever think about how much like doing a podcast is a part of our lifestyle now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like it takes up a huge chunk outside of just recording, the editing, the figuring it out, the planning, the conversations about it. And even it's weird, bro, because I was thinking about these the other day and I'm like, I feel like personally, me and you don't necessarily post a lot on social media, like on our personal pages.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You know, we post like every couple of months, special occasion, whatever. We're not like ones to be like fit of the day or whatever. You know what I mean? Nothing's really wrong with that. But also it's like, but we have a whole page that's a podcast. So like to other people, they're probably like, bro, these guys are like always on social media, because we have literally a page where we post content. But like, I don't know.
And consistently.
Inconsistently. And it's weird because like it feels personal, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? Because it's not like my personal page. But this is like, we're getting more personal on this podcast than we probably do on our real pages, it's just such a weird thing. Like, it doesn't correlate for me.
100%. I definitely think that there's the social media image of us, which is not like necessarily fake, but it's not as personal. And then, when you tune in into the podcast, like, you get insight. Like, I don't know, like you said, it's a lot more personal. I also think it's interesting because, like, I was visiting my buddy for his graduation last week, and we had changed the day that we normally record due to certain things. So I had to come down, and they're all like, no, like, stay here, spend the night. I had like 2 different friends be like, oh, let's stay here, come over. You can stay the night here, you can stay the night there, all that stuff. And then I'm just like, no, I got to drive back 2 hours to go do the podcast. And then they're like, bro, like, that sucks and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not complaining. You're complaining. I'm like, this is my life now. Like, it's just ingrained in my day to day. You know what I mean? Like, it's something like we can, at least I'm assuming you do too, because of editing, is like, it's something we consistently think about. It's like not necessarily always on our mind, but it's something that we're actively thinking about and actively working towards. So it's just one of those things that's like, it might look like it sucks on the outside because, like, we can't cancel. You remember that one guy that used to always get pissed at us because we couldn't go to the wine room with him on Wednesdays because we recorded every Wednesday at 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, sorry. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy, too, to think about how, like, our recording patterns have changed over time. Like, we used to record super late just due to, like, everybody's schedule, and now, like, it's a lot earlier, and it definitely feels a lot better because you're just, you wake up, you're more energized, like, you're, usually when we were recording back in the day, it was, I mean, although most of it was the true crime stuff, but even then, like, but I don't know. I was also younger, so like I had more energy at night. I feel like nowadays, like after 10, like if I'm not in that mode, like I'm just trying to chill.
I would agree with you if it wasn't for this job, because now like I go at
it's
7
different
p.m.
lifestyle.
So now I can do nights still. Like the last episode that we just did, we recorded that really late, at least on my end, and comparatively on your end as well. So, but I felt like the energy was still good, but it was also, maybe it's because we had a couple shots. So like, I don't know necessarily, but
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. But regardless, welcome to the show. This is the Catchin Up Podcast. My name is Gabriel.
I'm Tyler.
And we're going to play that intro for you in 5, 4, just kidding, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. Introducing Catchin Up Podcast.
All right, so
yeah, well,
do you want to do a coffee review? Do you want to do pop culture? I do have an interesting question that I heard on someone else's podcast. That's like a hypothetical.
Okay.
So
okay.
What angle you want to do?
I don't want to do one because mine's pretty basic. It's just a iced mocha. So I think you can definitely review the matcha because I've never had their matcha. So I'm just curious in general.
Okay.
And then I think we should quickly, each give a thought on the current state of the rat beef, and then we can go into whatever else.
Into my hypothetical question that I heard on another podcast. So I'm reviewing the matcha from Starbucks. So this specific recipe of matcha I got from my boy Van. Shout out Van. And it is a matcha iced latte with matcha cold foam, 5 scoops. Oh, sorry, he does 5 scoops. I do 6 scoops of matcha tea powder, 2 pumps of hazelnut syrup, and this time the lady at Starbucks was like, "Oh, a lot of people get the brown sugar syrup as well in their matcha." So I was like, "All right, cool. Let's see. Let's try it out." This is also a venti. It does look like I blended up the Grinch, just for those people that are just listening.
It does. Or grass.
I'm just eating grass milkshake.
Vegetables, bruh.
Yeah, bro, it's really good. I mean, granted, with all the extra stuff, maybe it's not even as healthy as it could be, but the hazelnut adds this sweet creaminess. Oh, and then I usually do oat milk too. So then that also brings out the creaminess for it. First, if you've had matcha and then you try it and you're like, this is cheeks. Like, this sucks. Like, I don't know how anyone can drink this. This is grass water. Yeah, like my boy Tyler. And that used to be me as well. But this specific combination, it's almost like it's like the naked smoothies, because it's not really a smoothie, but it's still like a thick liquidy thing. It's kind of like that, but it's very sweet. It's a little earthy, but it's nothing like, oh wow. Like, I've given this to a lot of people that don't like matcha, and they all are like, oh, I'll drink that.
Yeah.
So honestly, I give this a 10 out of 10.
Dang.
Because, bro, I hate matcha.
For matcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, matcha is, at least for people, I know there are some diehard matcha fans. They have the bamboo whisk, and they have, the whole set. There's a whole method on how you're supposed to prepare matcha. Fun fact.
He said there's a whole subreddit about it.
Yeah, no, straight up. So, for if you're not that specific type of person and you try and you don't like it, this is the best way to drink matcha. It's sweet, it's creamy, you still get all the matcha benefits, especially when you're doing 6 scoops of it. Also, the benefit about matcha that I really like, one, it doesn't make me have to poop as much as when I first drink coffee, and then it also helps with my bloating. I'll drink this before work sometimes because I don't feel as bloated. I'm walking around a lot at work, so you don't want to feel like you're full. And matcha is also an energizer, kind of, where it's kind of like caffeine, where it gives you energy, but it's more of a focused, calm, natural energy. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling the coffee, and then all of a sudden you're where you just die down. So matcha is that really good natural in between. So yeah.
The only way that I've ever enjoyed a matcha is when I go to my barber shop. They have a little coffee bar area that you get a drink for free when you go there, and they make a matcha yuzu lemonade.
Ooh.
And that is fire. It's I mean, again, like you're getting the yuzu lemonade, so you're getting some sugar and stuff, but it's so good. I mean, yuzu lemonade in general is just amazing, but adding the matcha, it kind of drowns out the taste of the matcha, so that's why I personally like it.
He's like,
I don't know. I've never been.
I don't know the matcha there.
I mean, that's kind of how, like, with those, even back in the day when I would take like green powders from like supplement companies, I'm like, bro, they're like, yeah, just mix it in water, and it tasted like dirt. I'm like, no, I need to mix it in something.
It tasted
so
like
that it's not
dookie.
like just grass in my mouth. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now, just a tidbit, because honestly, we could talk about this for a whole episode.
Yeah,
but we talk about it enough off the podcast, because remember, we are actual friends, that I don't think either one of us want to make a whole episode on the Rap and Kendrick beef.
Yeah, I mean, it's exhausting anyway.
Yeah, so Tyler is usually better spoken than I am, so here's the floor.
Yeah. Here's my thing that I've come to realize over the weekend, and whether or not like you have a quote unquote winner out of this, and personally right now, I think, just to give a quick thought on like winner before I get to my point, I think right now Kendrick is up. I think his strategy behind the play, even though he was whoops, hold on me. Got my light. Even though he was fed this information, he did a really good job of covering that up with Not Like Us. And he basically flipped Drake's own game on him by making this hit song, this like vibey, catchy diss song that's like playing in the clubs. So, kudos to him for that. And he was able to sway a culture against Drake. Looking back, I think like after a year or so passes by, people are going to look back, and when they look at the actual bars and the actual rapping, and this all depends on what comes out as true and not true. But if everything,
or if more stuff comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. I think looking back when like all of these like insane fans chill out and social media just like quits with the conspiracy theories, and like everybody's a freaking detective on TikTok nowadays. I'm like, once all that dust settles, I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. And I really at least hope that people give Drake the respect for giving bars to Kendrick, making Kendrick drop multiple songs, because in reality, right, people look at Drake as a pop star. So in theory, he should be done after one song. Why is he able to go toe-to-toe with somebody who's considered, a top 10, top 5 rapper of all time when he's a pop star? You know what I mean? And I think right now, people are just so caught up in all the information and all the bias and all that, and like, that's cool. But once the dust settles, I think that people need to look back and be like, okay, you can give Kendrick the win. Like, personally, I don't care. Like, as a Drake fan, I don't care. But to say that he didn't go bar for bar with Kendrick and hold his own against not just Kendrick, but freaking half the industry, and dealing with half the industry's fans, like, come on, bro, you got to give dude the respect. He's now been in battles with, huge names in the rap industry, more than I think any. I saw a video last night, and I think it's pretty much true. Drake has been beefing with more people than anybody in the history of rap, and nobody has taken him out.
That's true.
And like, that's an insane feat when you actually yeah, go ahead.
Taken out as in like pew pew, you're dead, or like taken out as in like
more so like
his career's done. That completely switches genres.
Yeah, or even like, look at Meek Mill, bro. Meek Mill, he was pretty big on the scene, and like, yeah, he's done some questionable things after, but like, he didn't get the same play and the same respect after Drake hit back to back on him.
True.
And I know he wasn't as big as Drake, but it's the same thing. Pusha T, though Pusha T is not out here trying to be a celebrity, like, his music doesn't get play, and the only time I hear people talk about him is when they're talking about the diss towards Drake. So like, you know what I mean? There is something to be said about somebody who can go against everybody, and like, nobody can take him out. Now, all that bias aside, I'm personally a little bit disappointed in not just this beef, but I think where rap beef has gone to as a more so needing to expose a certain scandal to win the rap beef. Because I'm like, okay, from both sides, just bear with me. This will be both side perspectives. So from Kendrick's side, if you were fed any sort of information about Drake having a kid, whether you thought it to be reliable or not, why do you feel the need to use that when you are such an insanely good rapper? And Kendrick is, at least, I don't know, I don't have like a definitive ranking, but you could easily place him top 10 of all time.
Absolutely.
So why do you feel like you need this bombshell to end Drake? Why couldn't you just go at him with bars? You want to, like he did on some tracks, dissect his character, dissect his lifestyle. Oh, that's all fair play. But when you have to bring in, oh, like you have a hidden kid, oh, you're a pedo, with like all of these accusations that like, bro, all of these women have spoken up that are supposedly the ones in the mix, that's not what happened. And although some of the stuff that Drake has done is weird, I will 100% admit to that. It is weird. Is not considered a pedophile or pedophile actions. Like if you actually look up the definition of what a pedophile is, like it's insane how like this has just been labeled. But anyway, even the fact that he had to take that angle, I'm like, why do you have to take these angles? Like that's, if you take both of those out of the equation, I don't think Kendrick's up at all. If you take those two perspectives out of his raps, I don't think he's up, personally. So I'm just like, from Kendrick's perspective, you're one of the greatest of all time. People already shame Drake for like not being this top rapper. So why do you feel the need to not just bar him up? And from Drake's perspective, why, if you did feed the fake information and that turns out to be true, why do you feel the need to do that? If you believe, like, you've been battle tested, obviously the shock value has worked against you with the kid thing. I get it. But like, and I get the motive behind it. Oh, I fed him information. He took it without doing the proof. He was over there saying he's not digging for anything, but obviously he was digging for things. So I get it. You're trying to discredit him and you're trying to show that he's not actually doing his research. He's just digging for proof to win a battle. I get the perspective. And with Kendrick, I get the angle. These are both angles you can use. But if you both legitimately feel like you're a better rapper than the other, why do you need to take these approaches? When you guys could have gone to the booth, you could have went directly at each other. I don't like this. I don't like this. I did this for you back in the day, and now you're turning on me. Like all this, there's so many other ways that you could just get in the booth and bar it up. And, you know, just coming as like a hip hop and rap fan, it's just like, so the beef nowadays is who can have the bigger bombshell. So like, what's even the point of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you guys knew these things about each other, why are you waiting for a rap beef to put it out there? You know what I mean? Like, is that not messed up in itself?
Yeah, they're talking about stuff that happened like 10 years ago sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And also it's like wife beating allegations, pedophile accusations. Like, these are things that if both turned out to be true, which nobody knows about at this time, yeah, they both should face repercussions for. So like, why are you saving it for a rap beef when you could have just put that out there and then you could have gave him some bars on some other stuff? So it's just a little weak to me, bro. I'm just like, you guys obviously don't feel that you're not as confident in yourselves as your fans are, or as you guys say you are, if you have to resort to these low tactics. And like, I get it. There's other ways of going low. Like I said, character, if you want to go after family and stuff like that. But when you have to like come up with these fake stories that may or may not be true, I don't know. It just kind of takes a lot out for me. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? Are we trying to be a TMZ battle, or are we actually trying to rap? You know? Because right now it's like, it's not who's the better rapper. It's who exposed who more. It's who's telling the truth. That's all you're seeing online. And all that fans are running with is, oh, this is true about him. Oh, this is true about him. But no, he hasn't proven that. But no, he hasn't proven that. It's like, bro, that's not what we should be talking about. We should be talking about, oh, did you hear that bar? Did you hear how many layers it was in it? Did you hear how this and that? That's what we should be hearing about right now. We shouldn't be hearing about, oh, this is true, that's not true. It's just like, I don't know. And it's just annoying. And like, social media has just like honestly turned like rap beefs into a disgrace with the way that on both sides people ride for each other. But I think this is also just the fact that people want to see Drake fall, so they're teaming up, with the Kendrick fans. But I don't know, man. It's just like, especially when you look back at like some of the older beefs, and I get like, we don't ever want it to turn tragic like it did with Biggie and Pac. Obviously, like we don't want that to happen. But if it's actual, like, if it's on, like, if they actually have problems with each other and you can't figure out a way in the booth, like, you can sanction a boxing match nowadays, bro. Like,
True.
Y'all don't need to train. Just get in there and fight. If y'all want to swing it out, if y'all are actually talking about on site, and, like, obviously we don't want any shootings or anything to happen, then do your bars, and then, or go have a versus battle. Like, get on stage and, like, play your biggest hits and see what fans are rocking with more. Of course, you're still going to have that bias, but I'm sure you could get a good general audience to do that. But I don't know, man. It's just like nowadays I'm like, it's everybody trying to cater to fans to persuade people a certain way rather than just, yeah, I'm a better rapper than you. I'm going to send better bars and you're not going to be able to like out-rap me. That's not what it is. Though I think we've gotten some great songs from this beef. I won't lie about that. I personally think Family Matters is the best track out of it all. Not Like Us it's great too. It's a great song. It's a great bop. I'm not diminishing that. But like, I think bars wise, Family Matters is the best personally. But like I said, that's not to say that I don't have Kendrick up if you want to put somebody up, because his strategy was better. His turning of the culture was better. And that's just how it goes sometimes with it. You have a better strategy, you win. I think Drake thought his strategy of feeding the information would have been the big thing, but Kendrick I don't think he underestimated how much Kendrick can sway the culture. And he also underestimated, bro, you're not just going against Kendrick fans. You're going against ASAP, Weeknd, Future, Metro, XXX fans, because people are still hung up on that. And they're Kanye fans who are second to none. I'm starting to think it's hard because I don't know if most of these people are Kendrick fans or they're just Drake haters posing as Kendrick fans. But I'm like, there's been very little objectivity in this, in what we've been seeing online. So it's like, what's the point? Like, if you guys are not going to be objective and listen to the music and actually like give an unbiased take, like, I get it. We all have fans. I'm a Drake fan. I listen to Drake way more than I do Kendrick. But I give Kendrick his props for this battle. I give him the win if you want to give a win. But that doesn't diminish anything that either of these artists have done in their careers, And it's like, and if you look at it from the perspective of what they're both accusing each other of, they're both POSs. So, like, you shouldn't listen. If you want to be like, oh, you shouldn't listen to one's music because he did this, then you shouldn't listen to the others. I mean, it's just crazy the bias that goes one way and not the other. So I could talk a lot more on it, but that's just my opinion, bros. I just think that like rap beefs have gotten a little weak over time, and like they don't really hold the same validity that they used to.
Well, that was a lot.
I know.
I agree with everything you're saying, to be completely honest. I don't necessarily. I can see why you're saying Kendrick is up and technically like Kendrick is like more or less winning, but I also like, I feel like he's not. I feel like
like once the dust settles, people will realize that.
And honestly, like I'm not saying Drake's winning either. I think neither one of them are winning. I think this whole thing got burnt out due to Kendrick with his over releasing. Like, there's no reason for me to listen to your brand new diss track on the way to work, and then 30 minutes after I clock in, they're like, oh, there's 5 more. What? Like, that's why? You know what I mean? Like the back to back to back to back, like that was too much. Like, it didn't give anyone time to like dissect. It didn't let it time to settle. Like, nothing, right? And then I like you were saying, where it's like, why is it, who said this, he said that, they did this, they did that, and not about who raps better, yeah, sure, if you have personal stuff against each other, but when you start taking, in my opinion, it's like, it's low and petty blows of like, oh, now I'm gonna bring your kids into this, now I'm gonna bring your mom into this, now I'm bringing your uncle into this. It's just like, who can say the most messed up thing if like that's what determines I guess what a rap beef is or a diss track is. And let's be honest here, I've told you this, if anyone's gonna win the diss track that's most disrespectful, it's Chris Brown. Like, it's neither one of these two. So it's just like neither one of you are saying anything that's like, to me, that I listen to, I'm like, no one says something about the other that I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, not saying that what they're saying isn't bad or is like I don't care about it. Like, you know, if you're being a pedophile or doing things with underage girls, that's absolutely terrible. If you're beating your wife and you're doing all these other stuff, that's absolutely terrible. And not spending time with your kids, right? Both bad. But that's just talking. You can say Drake's a bad dad. Okay, cool. What's your proof? The 5 Instagram pictures he posted? Oh yeah, I guess he is a bad dad. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, who are you to say anything without showing me? No one can say, no one can tell me our podcast isn't better than 55% of the podcasts out there without proving it. And I can't say we are without proving it either. So it's more of just like, you're just talking just to talk. And then because of what they decided to throw out there, because honestly, like, I think Kendrick was winning for a brief second. But then it was just like, it just started escalating. And it's just like, dude, like, come on. Like, either say different things and come at it from a bunch of different stuff, angles and stuff, instead of, there's no reason to bring up him being a bad dad 3 different songs in a row. Like, there really isn't. Like, we heard you the first time and the second time. We don't need it a third time. So it's just, and vice versa. I don't know. It just frustrates me because it went from, oh, those bars are sick. Oh, those bars are sick to, yeah, this person's an absolute piece of crap human and they need to never be put on the pedestal that they are because they are absolutely the worst and need to go to prison. Whether it's one or the other. It really, like, that took a turn that's not in what in my head is what a rap beef is. It's like what you said. It's who raps better, who says this. And yeah, you're supposed to diss each other. It's like, it's a roast. Sorry,
He's
my
back.
iPad got a cold. A cold. My iPad got a call. What was I saying? Oh, right. Like, if you don't like things about each other, absolutely. But say it creatively. Like, that's like, you know what I mean? Play with it. Like, I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm burnt out. This isn't even a rap battle anymore. This isn't even a diss track anymore. It's pretty much like who's going to put the other one in jail first, to be completely honest.
Yeah. And even I'm like thinking about it, bro. I'm like, if you actually think about it, like looking at it from like our perspective of like which songs actually are like just trying to diss the other person and not necessarily come for these like allegations like that and push-ups are probably the 2 primary examples of that. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually like look at those songs and be like, okay, they're just talking smack about each other. They're not like, they're talking smack about their catalogs. They're talking smack about them as people. They're not going after any like serious allegation or like kids. Like, bro, when you're roasting somebody's kid, what does that have to do with like the rapper, bro? What does that have to do with their raps? Like, come at his rhyme schemes. Like, he could have came at, you know, you could come at Drake. Oh, you're a pop star. You don't know how to rap. You're fake. You bring all this and that. And like, I understand that he did, but like, that's the stuff you should be leaning into instead of like trying to ploy at these other things.
Bro,
and also like with,
Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, like, with Drake with Family Matters, like, he did that with, like, a lot of the other people. And then when it came to Kendrick, he had to go for those allegations because he had to go for this, quote-unquote, like, kill shot. Which, like, again, it's a little weak. He could have went for other things. But, like, with the other people, like, when he's going at The Weeknd, when he's going at Future, when he's going at Metro, when he's going at all these other people, like, he is actually just giving them bars about them. So, like, credit to him for that and, like, taking them on in the same track. But again, it's like when you're resorting to these other things that are just about like stuff that shouldn't even matter in a rap beef, like it's just like, why, bro? You're doing it for social media. Social media wasn't around. I don't think that like they would be rapping about the same stuff. I think that's the whole point. And I get it. You have to change with the times. This is how you win nowadays. You sway an audience against a certain person by painting this image of them. But like, do it with some real stuff, man. Like, you know, like if you don't know for sure, or if it's just these weak allegations, then like it should not be in your rap. You're using it as a scapegoat for both of them, you know.
And the only thing that like has been like ticking me off with Heart Part 6 is that you know, it let's be honest here. As a society and as a culture, like you were saying, whether it's Kendrick fans or just Drake haters posing as Kendrick fans, like that is the more radical side. Ain't nobody that I've seen on the Drake side that's like a Drake fan saying that Drake won, like being as like one aggressive about it, but like also like it's not a conversation if you're talking with like people that are picking like full blown Kendrick side. Like it's not like I've tried to have conversations. They're like, nah, this, and like I can't even get a word out because they're just like so like, nah, this is this, and then it's like it's not even talking about bars anymore. It's talking about Drake's attitude and what he's done and stuff like that. And I'm like, I thought you were talking about rap, you know. Kind of lost my train of thought. But
you were talking about the Heart Part 6 to start off.
Oh, it was like correct. Okay, push-ups, bop. I play that in the car all the time. Like it's a bop. Then Family Matters, also a bop. Less boppy, but still a bop. And then they're all like, you know, oh, he's not what's it called? Talking about any of the allegations. He's only making these boppy songs. Like we want a hard diss track. Even I said, and look, I'm one of those people that I think it was Kai Cenat, the streamer, that also said the same thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not the only one. I think he could have gone a lot harder in Heart Part 6 in the sense of like, it was pure rap. It was to the point. It was not a bop. He was addressing all the allegations, but it wasn't as like angry, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to hear like Drake get angry on the mic and just be like and start dissing like what real diss tracks are supposed to be like. But regardless, every single allegation almost I think he addressed at some point. He said something about it. One, that's not good enough. They're all lies. Okay, well, okay, and who cares about the fact that now it's not a bop anymore? No, everyone stopped saying that all of a sudden. But then it's a good point because Kendrick hasn't talked about any of the allegations at all about beating his wife, about not hanging out with his kids and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, so he can say Drake's a pedo, Drake's, you know, always trying to stay with the times by hanging out with younger people. Drake's has a drug and pill problem. Drake has a kid. Drake has this. Drake does that. Every blah 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 blah. You name it. And then he's like addressing almost all of them for the most part. And then Kendrick doesn't, but no one cares. Okay, if it's kids, it's bad. But if it's beating your wife, no one cares. If it's not being a good dad, no one cares. But people cared when Drake was a bad dad. Like it's not. No one's holding very few people are holding both to the same standard of call and response. And I feel like that's what also makes diss tracks, where it's like, oh, well, this is fake, this is this, but you know what is true? This, and this, and this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll be like, no, that blah, 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 it wasn't. It was like this. You know, like, that's what it's supposed to be. So I don't think anyone won. I think until, and I don't, even if anyone proves anything, that doesn't make the rap battle win, because then that's just court. Like, that's something completely separate. That's like actual charges. That's actual jury. You know what I mean? Like justice. It just doesn't work.
But also, just some quick thoughts on the Heart Part 6 as well. Because I agree. I would have liked to see Drake come with that more just like energy, like almost like his song Energy, come with that energy. But
true.
We know that I know that Kendrick is not active on social media, but I know either him or he has a team that like looks at social media and informs him what's going on. And I do think that's partially why Not Like Us dropped so fast, because he realized about, oh, was I fed false information, this and that? Let me go ahead and drop this bop so that everybody forgets about that. Exactly what happened. Smart guy, played the strategy. That's why I'm saying strategy-wise, he's up. But with the Hard Part 6, I think Drake is obviously very tapped into social media. He's seen that, like, he dropped this amazing song with Family Matters, bro. Like, once it's looked back upon, people will look back at the song and be like, wow, he barred Kendrick up. He barred everybody else up. And like, it's a great song.
3 times.
Yeah. Whether you think it's the best song or not, it's a great song, and it's holding its own against somebody who's supposedly a top 10 rapper of all time. That's all I'm going to say about that. So now that he's seen that, like, no matter what he does, people are just not on his side, because, again, it's not just Kendrick fans. It's all these other fans, plus people who just hate Drake, which is a lot of people, bro. There's a lot of people that are low-key Drake. They'll bump him, but they don't want to see him win anymore, bro. And he's been at the top of the game for 15 years. People want to see him fall. So he's like, all right, like, I'm done with this, bro. Like, I get it. Like, I'm going to refute these allegations because I need to, because you're just throwing these baseless accusations in my face.
That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And people are running with it, and they're making up all these false things, and they're making up all these conspiracy theories. But he still sent some shots in the Hard Part 6, bro. He sent some, like, stuff that went over people's heads that, like, they're just not actually, like, looking into it. You know what I mean?
Bro, things that flew over my head that, like, when it was explained, I was like, what? Even down to the instrumental. You saw that?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people don't, for Drake, they don't do that research. If Kendrick did any of that, oh, did you see how this and this and this connected and this intertwined, and he addressed that? But, like, with Drake, it's like, this was the nuh-uh part. Like, bro, come on now. Like, that is not an objective take. That's not you actually listening to a song. That's you being probably one of the worst listeners of music in general, because you're not actually listening to the music. I get it. Some of the things saying I'm too famous to be doing this stuff, I get it. Was it a little, but like I've seen, how else do you address these allegations? How else do you say I'm not this? You know what I mean? Like, do you want him to bring Millie Bobby on the track? Do you want him to bring Kylie Jenner on the track?
Like, and that's what's like ticking me off, is that it started with Kendrick with all these allegations, and then Drake kind of, took the same route instead of taking the high road. I'm not sure if it was his choice or if he didn't have a choice and he had to take that route because that's where it was heading. But everyone's forgetting how, like, in the court of law, you're innocent till proven guilty. You saying, I can say Tyler staged his car robbery. Tyler doesn't have to prove to me that he didn't stage his car robbery. I have to prove that he did stage his car robbery. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the other way around. You can't prove that you're innocent. You have to prove that I'm not innocent. And you saying that I'm not innocent isn't anything.
Right. And so I think he's just exhausted. And one, like, also too, bro, like, he just dropped 2 albums, Her Loss, For All the Dogs, went on tour 2 times, and was planning, he literally said this before any of the beef started, I'm having issues, I want to, like, take a break from music for a little bit, and I want to, like, do my thing. Then he dropped Scary Hours because people were hating on him not rapping on For All the Dogs. So he's like, all right, I'll drop something for y'all, then I'm going to go. And then the whole beef started. So, like, this man's been wanting to go on vacation and chill while Kendrick has just been out of the spotlight for 4 years doing who knows what. Writing music, I guess, but he's not been touring. He's not been out here consistently dropping music. So he had time. And I'm sure Drake, and like, I get it. Drake says he wants smoke anywhere, any place. So yeah, you say that, you better be able to die by that sword.
Absolutely.
For sure. Like, if you're saying that, then I get it. You want to go on vacation, but hey, you're here. But I think the lack of energy is just like, bro, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter how I put it, people are not on my side unless they're my real fans and they're just objectively listening. I mean, I've even seen people who are Kendrick fans that can just objectively listen to music and be like, nah, Drake's actually, like, he's representing. Like,
absolutely,
you don't have to give him the win, but dude's representing.
And those are the ones I respect.
So, like, so kudos to them, man. And like I said, I'm a Drake fan, and I think Kendrick's strategy and just overall, like, approach was better. So, like, you know what I mean? You have to give credit where credit's due. But I think social media just really burnt out rap beefs, and I don't know, man, it's just not the same anymore. And it's just like, I honestly, and the thing is, and people can come at you and be like, oh, well, they're both doing the same thing, but, like, let's be real, bro. We should expect more from Kendrick Lamar. Like, just being honest. everybody already know. Like Drake talks about in his music, like Drake's not pretending to be some upstanding citizen. He's out here saying, oh, like his music is about going to the strip clubs and falling in love and doing something bad and popping pills and like his love life that never goes right. Like he's not out here in his music. Yeah, he does the mob stuff, the tough stuff, but like, you know what I mean? He's not out here pretending like, oh, I'm this and I'm this. And like, yes, Kendrick also addresses a lot of his own faults, but like people look at Kendrick as this dude who's like at the top. They look at him like he's Pac, which like, let's be real, bro.
No.
Like he's not Pac at all. At all. But you should expect a different level from him. You should expect him to be able to out-rap Drake without having to go to these lower things.
Level.
If anything, you should expect that from Drake. You should expect Drake to have to take all these angles because he's not a rapper. He doesn't rap. All he does is sing. So why shouldn't he have to stoop to those low levels? I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying that is something you could expect from Drake. That's not something we should expect from Kendrick. And nobody's like, so again, it's hard to not talk about this forever, but it's just dumb. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Last point, and then we'll stop it and I'll ask my question. What rubbed me the wrong way about the kids, Pusha T saying that Drake had a son and Kendrick saying he had an 11-year-old daughter and stuff like that is like, don't do that. Like, if someone's not putting their kid in the limelight, it's for a reason. It's not necessarily because they're a bad parent. Bro, especially when you're in the rap industry, it is dangerous. And people, when they want to hurt you, they are not going to be all calculated and be like, I'm going to drain his bank account and I'm going to make him stub his toe and cuss on stage. You know what I mean? It's not like these little things here and there. They're going to go for what hurts. And what hurts the most, other than, potentially a wife, which it seems like neither one of them have, it's their kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's the heart right there. And, like, that's dangerous. Especially if it's a little boy, if it's a little girl. Like, that's dangerous. So if they don't want to put it out there, that doesn't mean they don't want to. That doesn't mean they don't like their kid. That doesn't mean they're not involved in their kid's life. It's not a smart move. It just isn't.
It's not at all. It's not.
So it's like,
dumb for people to say that too.
And it rubbed me, that really ticked me off when Kendrick brought it up. He's like, oh, you little girl, you 11, I'm so sorry your dad. Bro, are you kidding me? If that was true, the whole world is now looking at that little girl. The rest of her life will never be the same. She could have had, if it was real, apparently it's not. I guess we'll never know. But it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like, you really could have screwed that little girl's life up. She could have been having a perfectly normal life, or, as close to normal as possible. Yeah. And now, if it's true, she never will. Ever. Adonis is never going to have a normal life. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's kids never have a normal life. ASAP and Rihanna never have a normal life. Bro, you know how many sickos want to take advantage of little kids, especially if they're people's kids that they hate? Come on.
Yeah. They're targets.
They're targets. So that's what people really rubbed me the wrong way, bro. And
I'm like, and Drake even addressed that in one of his songs. He said, I wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding the world from my kid. Like, bro, I just didn't want because I think about even the way that Drake had the kid with this like adult photo star. Like, bro, people are going to clown his kid. Not only Drake, but clown the kid for that. Like, bro, do you think maybe he was just taking time to, one, process that he's having a kid by a girl he's not with, but also just be like, man, how do I make sure that, like, my kid is protected from all this? And, like, it's a story that, like, we can come out together and be like, okay, like, this is what happened. You know what I mean? It's just, it's like, it's crazy, bro. One more thing. Kendrick talking about, deadbeat and stuff like that. When you're doing a song with Future, who has 8 kids with 8 different baby mamas, and I love Future's music, but like, bro, come on now. Hypocritical to the max. You can't be doing stuff with people like that. He's also been in defense of Kodak, R. Kelly. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you're being hypocritical. They both are, but like, you know what I mean?
And Future's had interviews where he's like, I just pay the child support because they just try to get your money. And you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Yep. Like, he's very adamant about that. He seems like he's not really involved in any of the kids' lives, like, at all. Yeah. And it's like, You know, if you're going to
put
I'm
not saying this
one under the limelight, you got to put all of them. Like, you can't just put one dude that has one kid who actually does get posted and does hang out with him at least every once in a while. And keep in mind, when you're a father, or when you're Drake, that you're touring the world, your whereabouts are constantly known, you're always with security. Like, one, that's not the best environment for a kid, period. And two, he's not with the baby mama. The baby mama needs to have the kid too. So it's called joint custody, unless, you know, and who knows, maybe Drake does have full custody of the kids with them all the time, but he doesn't need to be posting that because that's dangerous. P&B Rock's girlfriend posted their location for like 30 minutes and the guy ended up dead.
Yep.
You're not going to do that when you have a kid with you. You're just not.
And the thing is, I think weird because I feel like, you know, people can interpret this and being like, oh, we're like defending Drake. No, we're not saying this to defend either one of them. We're just saying you can't move the goalpost for one person and not the other. You have to look at these things all objectively. And when rappers bring claims like this into play, you really have to look at it objectively because it's not about the bars anymore. It's about these stories and these allegations. And that's why I personally am like, it's just like done, bro. But oh, you're glazing, you're this, you're that. I'm like, bro, it's probably so many 10-year-olds in the comments are the ones that are like, oh, glazing. I'm like, bro, it's burnt out. One more thing I want to say, and then because I want to speak on J. Cole for a minute, because I just had a realization too, and I'm like, bro, I actually listen. When J. Cole came out and apologized, I had huge respect for him as a man and a person trying to grow because, hey, I just want to make music. I don't want to be involved in this petty stuff. And this is before anything got nasty.
True.
As a rapper who is always claiming I'm the best, I'm ready to smoke anybody on the mic. If you want it, you can come and get it. It did make me lose a little bit of respect in that aspect because I'm like, then why are you claiming that? Just make your music, rap about what you want about. Don't claim you want smoke. Like, don't claim you're the best if you're not ready to defend that. I think now, after all of this, I actually respect him more on both fronts because if J. Cole's going to get in a beef, I think he's going to do it the right way. I think he is old school. I think he's going to not try to go for crazy allegations. And I think somebody warned him, whether it was Kendrick, because I know him and Kendrick have a little bit of a relationship, or it was Drake. Obviously, they have a relationship, and Drake was like, bro, this is probably going to get ugly. I don't know which side it came from, but I'm sure he had intel being like, this is going to get ugly. And he was like, I don't want any part of that. That's not what I'm trying to rap about. If I'm going to get in a beef, it's going to be bars. It's going to be about you. It's going to be about your catalog, your music. I'm not throwing around kid allegations. I'm not throwing around pedo allegations. I'm not throwing around beating allegations. I just want to rap. And so, like, huge respect to him for bowing out and be like, I don't want to get in this dirty mess because that's not how I view rap beef. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. From my perspective, I don't know why he dropped out, but from my perspective, I genuinely think that's what happened. And respect to him from that, bro. Like, you know, he didn't want to take it there because that's not what it should be about in the first place.
It's not worth it.
Like, for like, straight up. So,
like, think about it.
Anyways, yeah. Go ahead.
The only bad thing now that people are gonna say about J. Cole is what you just said, and it lasted 30 seconds. Now you're gonna have hour-long conversations about Kendrick and Drake, and it's all bad. Like, you know what I mean? It's not worth it. But anyways,
and whether or not, go ahead. No, never mind. It's cool.
If you want a part 2, let us know. We'll make another episode.
Yeah. If you wanna P2, and again, like, this will be next week. Who knows, like, what's gonna come out from then? So maybe next week, depending on what happens, we can touch base upon it and be like, okay, like, maybe we were wrong about this or right about this, or, you know, we'll see what happens because a lot happens in days now, apparently.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's settled for a little bit, and right now, as we speak, it's been kind of calm and mellow. It's just social media going on a rampage.
Besides the shooting at Drake's house, but other than that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So the question that I heard on Ninjas Are Butterflies, the podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, shout out to them, is, okay, you're in a circle, right? Or like you're in the middle of a circle, and surrounded is like 10,000 12-year-old you. So you as a 12-year-old, remember when you were a 12-year-old, and you're just surrounded by like 10,000 of them, right?
10,000 of me?
Yeah.
Okay.
like 10,000 12-year-old Tylers.
Okay.
And in my case, 12-year-old Gabriels. I don't know why I said Gabriel. Gabe, you. Anyways, so it's a fight to the death. Like, they're trying to kill you. You got to try to kill them. But every minute, one comes at you. So it's like, all right, boom, one Tyler comes at you. 60 seconds later, another Tyler comes at you. 60 seconds later, another Tyler comes at you. Right? So you got time to fight one. And if you get it down in a little bit, you got time to rest and then prep for the next one. How many Tylers do you think you could beat, or I guess end, before you get ended?
That is, first off, that is a very weird question. I don't know, bro, because it's like, one, it's gonna be like very weird fighting a younger version of me. Because I'm like, I don't want to hit my face. Like, you know what I mean?
Bro.
It would be a little bit weird. But I guess you have to. So, like, if you put in this situation, like, hey, it's situation, or you die. I don't really know, bro, because I'm like, obviously, I could take on a 12-year-old version of me, but like,
well, describe a 12-year-old version of you.
Am I trying to kill him? Am I trying to just put him down?
Well,
like,
you know you best. Like, okay, so the guy on the podcast, like, grew up without a dad. So he was like, I'll just be like, if you don't hit me, I'll tell you who your father is. And like that 12-year-old would just start crying. You know what I mean? So there's different angles, right? But I'm talking specifically more of like, yeah, like you got to kill them or else they're going to try to kill you, right? Me, my 12-year-old self was maybe the same height I am now. I'm not sure. Maybe a little shorter. I hit puberty a little early, but I was also only 100 and I think 14 pounds, and I'm 175 now. Pure muscle. But I feel like that's a big advantage. And like I said, you got technically a full minute before another one even attacks. So if if I got a little scrawny little Gabe flailing his arms at me trying to come at me and I just throat chop him, he's down for the count. I got and that's like 2 seconds. So now I got 56 seconds to like rest and wait for the next one. Right?
Sure.
Okay. I guess you got it.
Yeah.
Because it's like no weapons. It's just like bare knuckle match.
Yeah.
and like ideally you probably got to kill him. I think because of like, I think I'll just get tired after a while and start like losing it. I genuinely think I could do at least 20.
That's it?
Bro, think about it. It's still, bro, I don't know about you. I've never gotten into like a full-blown fist fight, but I doubt I'm going to be able to use the same exact technique for every single one. And if I'm like, let's say I'm killing them all with one punch, my hand's going to hurt after 20 faces.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you got to resort. I don't know, maybe take your shoe off.
Yeah, start kicking them. You're like, Gah!
I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to think a little bit more, but I don't think I'm winning that situation. 10,000.
Like it's almost like you're pretty much gonna die. Like unless you're gonna beat all 10,000.
If it was 100, I think it would still be very hard, but I think it's doable. 10,000 is insane, bro. Like at that point, I might as well not even waste my energy. You know what I mean? Like 10,000 is a lot, bro.
Then
like,
let's switch 100. If it's a life or death situation and it is 100, yeah, I think I could. Honestly, I think it'd be hard. I think I'd kill the first one and then just grab it by its leg and just start beating the other ones with it. Which is like, kind of morbid now that I say that out loud. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It'd be hard. It'd be exhausting. It'd be very weird. But yeah, 10,000, no. 100, I think it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's for sure, but like just out of like the fatigue and like you said, your hands and like, all this stuff.
And that's assuming you don't get hit at all either. Like 12-year-old me definitely going for a crotch kick. 100%.
Yeah, and like what if one like takes you longer than the minute? Because a minute's not really a long time, like. I get it's like
could
a 12-year-old,
enough.
like it's not a lot of time.
Correct. But then like if you slow down, okay, this punch because you're tired now isn't as effective. Yeah. Now you got two of them.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're dealing with 2 and then maybe 3 and then maybe depending on how it all like varies up. Like maybe you took one out but he wasn't out so he got back up, So like I don't know. I think that's an interesting question, but it's kind of hard to
So if you had to put a number
like even
to
think
it
about
with all of that, between 100 and granted, yes, life or death situation, yeah, you might be able to make it all the way to 100. But with that, like, you're not as effective after, the 10th person, let alone the 20th and the 30th and the 40th.
I think I could at least do 50.
Really?
I think right now in the condition I'm in, I do my cardio, I work out. Like I think I could at least take out 50 of them.
I think once I see red, which let's be honest, it doesn't take very much. I think I'll be straight.
Right.
But I feel like I'll start getting beat down at least around 20. Like I think by the 20th person, I'm like, this isn't no one hit kill. Like I'm gonna have to start fighting like 3 of them at a time.
Yeah.
But that was my question. What about you? How many 12-year-old versions of yourself do you think you could get through, or will you make it till the final round of ending the 100th?
Yeah, that's okay. That's a question I did not expect.
I know, bro. I was like driving home and I heard that and I was like, bro, what? But good question.
Now we're gonna get beating kid allegations against us, so be ready for it.
It's just myself.
Yeah, it's just me, so I'm just beating myself up at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get worse comments about the reclining plane seats than we are about this, to be completely honest.
Yeah, for real, bro. It's so dumb. But how long are we on right now?
56.
Dang, yeah, we definitely talked a lot about that. Do we want to pull one from our Cup Vault HQ?
Cup Vault HQ.
I think it's a little fun thing. We have some more movie and music reviews coming. We just, with this rap beef, it's been very hard to
listen
focus
to anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I really have, actually. I've actually just a little inside, I've been getting into a lot of Tupac's music because I was like, all right, man, like if I'm actually trying to look at this objectively, I need to listen to some of who's considered like the GOATs. I mean, I've listened to Pac before, but not like extensively. So I was like, let me start listening to some of his music so that like I can actually get an understanding of like rap and more so, just to develop it. Because I feel like nowadays, especially like people are weighing in on these comments and I know half of them are like 12-year-olds who listen to Yeet. So like, I don't even want to hear it. Like that's why I think social media is so dumb too. Cause I'm like, bro, you listen to freaking Yeet and Cardi B, like granted that's fine, but I'm just saying that's not a real rap opinion. Like, let's not get it twisted. And so, you got to listen to the classics, man. You got to listen to where it was really was popping off. So, definitely recommend if you haven't. Amazing artist.
Okay, so we got a couple options here. Grinds my gears, people who don't turn on the AC in the car.
I could talk about that.
Are you a late or early packer, or people who hate just simply to hate?
Man, I want to talk about the AC in the car because we've talked about so much hating and stuff today. I'm a little burnt out on that. But yeah, that was mine. That's what really grinds my gears is when I'm in the car with somebody and like literally windows up and everything and it's not cold out and you don't turn the AC on or you have it on like the absolute lowest setting. I'm like, bro, it's hot in here. How are you not? Like, I get we all like different temperatures and stuff like that, but I'm like, just even for circulation purposes, I'm like, it's so stale in here, bro. Like, we need to get some air flowing. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I do run a little bit hotter. So, like, typically, like, I keep my car pretty cold. So, like, I might be on, like, the way end of the spectrum. But I don't know, man. And I've noticed it a lot. Like, it's not just, like, a couple people. So, I'm like, maybe it's me. Let me know. If I'm the weird one, y'all can comment and let me know that. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like if you're in the car with, like, multiple people, like, you should have some air flowing throughout the vehicle for everybody's sake. But, like, you know, just so that there's some ventilation, like, so there's some air going through. It's not just stale, like, your breath is, like, getting caught up in the in the air because it's not moving anywhere, Like, come on, man.
No, I agree, bro. I'm the same way. I also run hot. I actually run so hot that my girlfriend it'll be 90 degrees out and she has to enter my car with the sweatshirt on. That's the beauty of Toyotas. They're cheaper, they're easier to fix, and they got either lukewarm or Antarctica for cold. So I always got it on that full blast Antarctica mode. And no,
does
bro.
Does your car do the individual temperatures?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Mine does. So that's a plus for people that ride with me.
We get it. No, but yeah, no, what's wrong with you? You're a psychopath. You're just sitting there, like you said, stale air, nothing's moving. You got, bro, like, what if I fart? It's just gonna sit there. No, it's not gonna move.
And it's trapped.
It's trapped. It's disgusting. No, it ticks me off too. Especially like I get it. If it's cold outside. Oh, excuse me, I was trying to get the hiccups. It's cold outside. You're starting to, get a little. The car's already a little cold. It's a little chilly. You don't want to turn the heat on, so you kind of just like let it be and stuff like that. But even then, it's still like, honestly, just turn the fan on. Or like maybe do like the lowest setting of air, because like just the fact that no air is moving around irks me. Like it
doesn't sit right with me.
The only time I'll ever do it is when my car's like really cold and I don't want to like change it because I know it's gonna get really hot. So then I'll let it sit for like maybe 5 minutes, but then I turn it back to the first notch of the fan moving. Because I'm like, you gotta have something. You can't not have anything.
Yeah, I'm like,
so I think we both agree.
I don't trust y'all.
If you don't turn the AC on in the car, it's a red flag.
Yeah, you can't roll with us anymore. And I know that's a big deal. So
Yeah. Sorry.
But anyways, I think this is a good cap for the episode. So yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on everything we covered today, from the hypothetical question to the beef to the air thing. Let us know in the comments, man. We're curious to hear y'all's opinion. We're curious to hear, anything y'all got to tell us. If you have any suggestions for what you want to see on the pod, if you have suggestions for albums or movies that you want us to cover in the future, since we're doing that. If you have hypothetical questions, if you got would you rathers, whatever you want. We're taking suggestions anywhere. You want to hit us in the DM, the comments, the wherever, we view it. So, just let us know.
Make sure to follow us on our social medias, on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our YouTube, all our audio platforms. Also, if you're on our audio platforms, make sure to leave a review. That helps us out a bunch. You have no idea how much it helps. Always make sure to leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you get notifications, because we do post every week. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you next week when we review Tupac.
Yeah. I think we're thinking of doing that next week. So yeah.
Because I'll admit, as a rap fan, I will let you guys all down, because I think I've heard maybe one Tupac song. All the way through.
I mean,
I've heard clips and stuff like that, and I heard little bits, and like I still give him the respect because I know he earns it. But it's just because when I was younger, old rap just like didn't really appeal to me, and I think now that like I actually like rap for rap itself and not necessarily like, allegations, I guess. It's more just like I'm more. I think I'll enjoy it a lot more. Long story short is what I'm trying to say.
All right, man. Well, hey, since there's so much hate out there, be nice to one another. Have respectful conversations. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.